How was your day today? Hello and welcome to Why Is That Anyway? Our podcast series that often begins with why questions, applying the first principle thinking method. This approach aims to give you diverse perspectives on various life issues and help you cultivate a truly vibrant spirit. Join us for this episode. After all those wild parties, are you truly okay? The beautiful woman had spent her entire 2 days off immersing herself in non-stop, all-night parties. These were parties she believed would help her unwind after months of slaving away for the system, working relentlessly from dawn till dusk, and also to chase away the terrible feelings the man had left her with. 2 days off, yet she only managed to sleep a mere 4 hours. In the mornings, she wandered through clothing stores, picking out items she'd always loved but never dared to buy. By night, she hopped from one club to another, chugging down who knows how many stimulants. She didn't care about anything in the world. The only thing she knew was that her emotions right then were very happy, incredibly happy. The clock struck 8:00 a.m. on her first day back at work. She should have been getting up, preparing for work, but she simply couldn't move. Even when people called her, she didn't answer. And so, a long day passed with her phone ringing incessantly, while she lay still and motionless in her bed, like a stone. Just yesterday, she was living life to the fullest in this bustling city, yet today, all she wanted to do was lie still. Even though she was alive, she just wanted to remain that way. Even if she starved to death, she wouldn't care. She just wanted to lie there. In a moment of regained consciousness, looking towards the pile of medical reports, she mused, so this is what bipolar disorder is like. It lifts you sky high, then drags you down to the deepest abyss. So, what exactly is bipolar disorder? Bipolar disorder, or its full medical name, bipolar affective disorder, is a mental health condition characterized by extreme mood swings, ranging from periods of euphoria or mania lasting for days or even weeks, to profound depressive episodes. The term bipolar originates from the two opposing emotional states experienced by sufferers: mania, which is an extremely elevated mood, and depression, which is an extremely low mood. Previously, this condition was referred to as manic depressive illness or manic depressive psychosis. However, psychiatrists gradually realized that the concept of bipolar more accurately reflected the true nature of the illness, as it involves fluctuations between two extremes that don't always follow a fixed order. Those afflicted experience changes not only in their mood, but also in their energy levels, behavior, cognitive abilities, and daily routines. During a manic state, they can become excessively euphoric, believing they can accomplish anything, possessing unparalleled power. Conversely, during a depressive episode, they fall into despair, becoming so exhausted and drained that they lose all will to live. People often label those with this illness as mentally ill. But the truth is, that's not the case. While bipolar disorder falls under the category of mental illnesses and can manifest as explosive, uncontrollable behaviors during manic phases or profound collapse during depressive phases, the majority of those afflicted can still live, work, and contribute normally. However, due to the ingrained heavy stigma surrounding mental illnesses, bipolar disorder is often viewed through a lens of prejudice and misunderstanding. In reality, people with the condition do not lose their sanity. Rather, they are grappling with a complex cycle of unstable emotions, a result of physiological dysregulation in the brain, coupled with various environmental factors. The exact causes of bipolar disorder are not yet fully understood, but scientists agree that it is a condition closely linked to both biological and environmental factors. Genetic factors play a significant role. If one parent has bipolar disorder, there's approximately a 10% chance their children will inherit the condition. According to research by the Black Dog Institute for Mental Health, in addition to genetic factors, chemical imbalances in the brain are also considered one of the main mechanisms causing the illness. Neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and noradrenaline play crucial roles in regulating mood, sleep, and stress management. When the balance between these chemicals is disrupted, it can lead to sudden and prolonged emotional shifts, which are characteristic of bipolar disorder. Environmental factors and personal experiences also significantly contribute to the onset or worsening of the illness. Constantly facing suppression, coupled with major losses in life, leading to chronic stress or prolonged sleep disturbances, can all act as triggers for manic or depressive episodes in individuals already predisposed with sensitivities in their brain chemistry. Most importantly, the misuse of certain medications can lead to imbalances in body chemistry. For example, antidepressants or endocrine-disrupting drugs like prednisone or corticosteroids can sometimes induce temporary manic states. This is especially true for young people today, who frequently abuse stimulants to cope, which can also trigger extreme emotional phases, further disrupting the brain's stable cycle. It's noteworthy that many people, when bipolar disorder is mentioned, only recall the symptoms of depression, feelings of despair, exhaustion, low self-esteem, and loss of will. They forget that the manic state is also a very significant and sometimes more dangerous factor because it's genuinely hard to recognize. If treatment focuses solely on depression while ignoring mania, the management of the illness will not be comprehensive, leading to a high risk of relapse. The manifestations of bipolar disorder are very diverse and vary from person to person. During a manic episode, patients feel abnormally energetic, talk excessively and rapidly. Their thoughts race with unrealistic ideas, and they have a decreased need for sleep yet remain wide awake. Some become irritable, aggressive, exhibiting impulsive and risky behaviors such as excessive spending, rushing into fleeting romantic relationships, or venturing into reckless business deals. Conversely, during a depressive phase, they fall into a state of prolonged sadness, losing interest in everything, even daily activities. Feelings of fatigue, low energy, sleep disturbances, changes in appetite, and a sense of worthlessness and guilt become pervasive. In severe cases, patients may harbor negative thoughts about themselves, even developing self-destructive ideation. If a patient experiences an overly intense manic or depressive cycle, they can enter a state of psychosis, losing the ability to distinguish between reality and hallucinations. These hallucinations often stem from false beliefs, but are experienced with intense vividness. Vincent Van Gogh, honored by posterity as a master of color and light, was also labeled the madman. In their eyes, he was an eccentric artist, sometimes painting for days on end without sleep, at other times withdrawing behind closed doors, sinking into silence as if he had vanished from the world. Van Gogh truly lived in two realities. On one side, a harsh life of poverty and solitude; on the other, vibrant fields of flowers, swirling skies, and waves of light that only he could perceive. When the manic episodes of his bipolar disorder struck, he experienced an explosion of energy, barely sleeping, painting dozens of canvases in just a few weeks, each brushstroke swift, powerful, and ferocious, as if racing against time. He spoke and wrote extensively, constantly sending letters to his brother, his thoughts overflowing and unstoppable, as if his mind was engulfed in a torrent of introspection. But immediately after those peaks came the profound depths of depression. Van Gogh would fall into states of exhaustion, helplessness, and self-isolation, even entertaining self-destructive thoughts. During one such instance, on a night in 1888 in Arles, amidst despair and panic, he cut off a part of his left ear as a way to silence the echoes of bitter words, ridicule, and the imaginary sounds reverberating in his mind. In the days that followed, he was admitted to a psychiatric hospital, isolated from the outside world. The medicine of that era was incapable of explaining the turmoil within his mind, leaving posterity with only the label madness, for they could find no other word to fully reflect the depth of a soul both brilliant and deeply wounded. Without early detection and timely intervention, psychotic states can worsen significantly, causing the patient to gradually lose control and potentially develop schizophrenia, truly becoming mad. The loved ones and friends of individuals with bipolar disorder are also significantly affected. Witnessing someone they cherish undergo such drastic mood swings, one moment brimming with energy and confidence, the next plummeting into the abyss of despair, can leave them feeling helpless, anxious, and can even gradually erode their patience and empathy. Supporting someone with this illness requires not only knowledge, but also immense mental fortitude. Many relationships fracture because family members don't fully understand the nature of the disease. So, how does one live with bipolar disorder? First and foremost, an accurate diagnosis is crucial. This requires cooperation among psychiatrists, psychologists, and family members. Once diagnosed, patients typically need a treatment plan that includes mood stabilizers, antidepressants, or antipsychotics when necessary, combined with psychotherapy. Establishing a healthy lifestyle, maintaining regular sleep, engaging in light exercise, avoiding stress, and having a strong support network are all extremely vital. Most importantly, patients and their families need to understand that this is a long-term journey, not a cure that happens overnight, requiring patience and ongoing support. And one of the keys to helping patients find their way is understanding the phases of mania and depression. If patients and their loved ones can recognize early signs of mood shifts, adjusting medication and modifying daily routines promptly can lead to better management of the illness. Many patients, after a period of successful treatment, even learn to harness the energy of their manic phases in a controlled manner when they need to be creative or work extensively, while simultaneously knowing how to protect themselves from pitfalls when they feel their mood plummeting. As mentioned earlier, the most crucial point to emphasize is that individuals with bipolar disorder do not lose their personality, nor do they suffer from schizophrenia, nor are they incapable of controlling themselves, as some still mistakenly believe. This is a real biological illness with clear neurological underpinnings, and it can be entirely managed through modern medicine combined with the support of psychotherapy. However, due to a lack of understanding and long-standing prejudice, many people still hold misconceptions about this condition. In fact, history is replete with brilliant individuals who lived with bipolar disorder and still achieved extraordinary accomplishments. Thus, mania is also a detrimental agent to our minds, no less dangerous than depression, a condition more frequently discussed in daily life. Sometimes, subtle emotional shifts are misunderstood as normal reactions in today's high-pressure world. A touch of euphoria after success, a few sleepless nights due to a flood of ideas, at first glance, these seem harmless, even commendable. However, if we don't listen to ourselves, if we don't carefully monitor our own emotional states, these seemingly small things can accumulate and become the seeds of a dangerous spiral in the future. Bipolar disorder can be recognized through various outward signs. It's not something to be taken lightly or hoped will simply pass. Understanding that mania also poses risks, just like depression, is the first step towards timely recognition and knowing when to seek help. Just as we learn to listen to our bodies to detect early signs of physical illness, learning to listen to our minds, monitoring our emotions and behaviors, is equally important. No one understands us better than ourselves, and no one can help us more effectively than when we are ready to confront and care for our own mental health. We hope that after all these stories and insights about this condition, we can take another step towards understanding and compassion, not only for those living with bipolar disorder, but also for ourselves and those around us. Because caring for mental health is not just an individual responsibility, but a journey that requires companionship, openness, and sharing from an entire community. And that concludes this week's podcast episode. If you resonated with these insights, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and look forward to the next episodes of Why Is That Anyway? Bye.